Over the past 3 or 4 months, I have been able to test several different phones, and I've really enjoyed it. The experience of being able to test different phones and trying out new things all the time is really cool to me, and I loved having a new daily driver almost every 2 weeks, which was really cool. Now obviously I haven't been doing that recently because I actually just physically cannot go and ask people for more phones because, well, they haven't got any more. I have used up a hell of a lot of my friends' phones trying to do this. So I'm going to compare 2 phones, and I can't go out and get some more because I just physically cannot do that, but I will have some money soon enough so I can go and buy some more, 1 or 2 more phones, and I can do more reviews and stuff like this, but I think a comparison is due. Now in the comments, a hell of a lot of people have been comparing the G3, that's the LG G3, with the HTC ONE M8. Now, although they were kind of like, oh, which one's this, which one's that, there were kind of wars going on between the 2 people, or 2 types of people. So in this video, I'm going to try and clear it up. So this is the HTC ONE M8 versus the LG G3. Now, obviously, I haven't got the phones back here. Guys, I don't own the phones. I can't do anything. The things you suggest I do with the phones, I cannot do. They're not mine. I did state quite clearly that I was borrowing them, so they're not here. But I have got the B-roll for both of them, so I can kind of illustrate what they look like and stuff like that if you guys don't already know. So let's start off with the build quality. With the LG G3, you're getting a lot of plastic. You've obviously got glass on the front, but a lot of the rest of the build is plastic. But that does come as an advantage later on, which I'll explain. Now the HTC ONE M8 actually uses, well, this one's blue, and you can actually get a red one as well, which is kind of different. And obviously the standard colours, but that is a lot of metal. That is one of the best built phones I've ever held in my hand, and it's just glass and metal. Versus the G3's plastic and metal. Take that how you will, but I think the ONE M8 wins definitely on build. Doesn't matter, maybe you like plastic, I'm not sure, but like the ONE M8 is just built amazingly compared to the G3. Not to say that the G3 isn't built well, it's actually built very well as far as plastic phones go. Alright, the screen's the one bit that you're going to be staring at when you're using it. So you've got on the G3 a 5.5 inch 1440p screen, and then on the ONE M8 you've got a 5.1 inch 1080p screen. Now you're thinking, oh, instantly the G3 wins. Not quite. I've used a 1440p screen like the G3, and I've also used a 1080p screen like the ONE M8, but I kind of prefer the 1080p screen. The battery life is so much of a loss. Before I get into the rest of it, I want to say that the ONE M8 I had was kind of dodgy, so not all phones are going to be like this. I'll compare it to a standard ONE M8, which I did get to use a couple of weeks ago. I like the 1080p screen, but I like the size of the G3 screen. Like 5.5 inches now my perfect screen. Like my iPhone 6s Plus is 5.5 inches, the G3 was 5.5 inches. I believe I tested multiple other phones at 5.5 inches. The LE phone was 5.5 inch panel. Like the 5.5 inch form factor is perfect. The OnePlus 2 is, it's just perfect. So I love the size of it. But I like the resolution of the ONE M8 because it doesn't kind of degrade your battery life as much as the G3 does. So if I had to go for the screen that I preferred, I'd probably have to go with the ONE M8 just because of the resolution and the way that everything looks. Whereas I really like the size of the G3. 1440p on a phone is pointless, completely pointless. Does not even on a 6.5 inch panel. No need for it whatsoever. So you guys saying, oh, but the quality's amazing. Like, no, like it doesn't make that much of a difference. When you're on 22 inch, 23 inch screens and you're going from 1080p to 1440p, that makes a difference. On 5.5 inch panels, don't make a difference. So actually I'd go with the ONE M8 for this one. Speaker, we're always going to get onto the speaker with the ONE M8 in the mix, weren't we? So speaker on the G3 is not the best, but it's not the worst. And the one on the ONE M8, very good, not as good as it's hyped up to be. Still very good though. That's all I'm going to do for the speakers. Now the cameras, this is something that's quite interesting, but it's an instant win for one of the phones. The HTC ONE M8 has a 5 megapixel camera capable of 1080p video, and the LG G3 has a 13 megapixel camera capable of 4K video. I think we know who wins this one. The G3 will win every single time. The ONE M8, don't get me wrong, it's got a good camera, but it's just not good enough. It's like good, but it's not good enough. It cannot compete. Battery life. ONE M8, very good, can last a full day easily. Now that Harry has installed Marshmallow, it's actually improved the battery life tenfold. It really has improved the battery life. So all those people telling me to upgrade to Marshmallow, Harry has done so, and it works like a dream now. So actually battery life isn't too bad. Still gonna go for the ONE M8 though. Although the G3s can be replaced with a battery back, and can also, the battery itself can be replaced as well. For battery life, I'm going to go with the ONE M8, and for the battery system, I'm going to go with the G3. Performance then. I'd say that the ONE M8's actually got better performance. That's because its screen is lower resolution and it's actually physically smaller, so the GPU doesn't have to do as much work, although they're very, very, very close. I'd say the only thing that was wrong with the ONE M8 is because I have used it with just like without Sense. With Sense, it kind of, Sense does hang things up a little bit, and the G3 on Cyanogen is absolutely amazing. So actually performance, I'd say they're average. They're average. I would not say that you could really go higher, just because there are hang-ups, but then there are also like deliberately longer animations. So something similar to the iPhone. Like the iPhone would be really screaming fast, but there's a lot of animations that are kind of just deliberately slower. Hello? That moment when you get called midway through making a video. Okay, so one of the big things is on the G3 you have a removable back, and you have removable battery, and you have removable SD card or micro SD card. The ONE M8 just has removable micro SD card. It hasn't got a removable back, but it does have a removable micro SD card, which means you can expand the storage, but you can't change the battery. So actually I'm going to give that one to the G3 in terms of little quirks, because you can actually change more about it. So they're roughly the same price. Which one would I buy? Honestly, probably the ONE M8. Not because I don't like the G3 or because I think the G3 is worse. In fact, I think it's probably a little bit better. But I just love the build quality and just the fit and the finish of the ONE M8. It's one of the best phones. In fact, it's probably the most premium phone I've ever held. Now I'm going to grab something right here. This is my iPhone 6s Plus, right? And it's in almost perfect condition and it feels great. But it does not come close. I mean, this is like less than a year old. It comes nowhere close to the ONE M8's build quality. The ONE M8 has the best build quality, apart from probably the Ellie phone, which I tested, that was about £100 brand new back a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It's just like, you cannot beat it. So that's it, guys. If I was to pick one, I'd go with the ONE M8, although if I was sensible, I'd go with the G3 just because of the specs and like more of the features. There are some quirks about the ONE M8 as well. You can get a dot case, like a dot cover case, and it also has an LED in the speaker, which I think I forgot to mention in the last video that I made about it. So there are some quirks there. Overall, I have been missing the notification LED at all because the iPhone doesn't have one, so I'm just kind of like, whereas I do miss the notification LED. I'll do a video on that soon, but there you go, guys. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. It's a pretty long video, but hopefully you've got it. So the screen, you know, the build, the camera, the speaker, the battery, the performance, the explosive back, no, the removable back. I guess you could kind of explode it. I would pick the ONE M8. I would pretty much only get it in blue though. If I couldn't get it in blue, I would switch back to the G3. I almost got a black G3 in, I believe I was going to swap it for something. Guys, this has been your boy Ryan Thomas. I've been rambling for like 8 or 9 minutes now. We'll see you in the next one. Peace!